Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. I wanted to start the day with this song, and instead of my usual song, because I want to bring my guest on, and I wanted to bring my guest on with this song. She's going to come on and give us about 15 minutes, as long as she can stay, talking about her son. Her name is Mrs. Mathis. She had a life-changing event that happened on June 16th that no mother wants to have that event. She and I were in that same club. So welcome, Miss Mathis, and you have my deepest condolence on the loss of your son. And I know you're gonna give us some information about what's happening. We know your life is forever altered. We understand that. I personally understand that. Welcome to the Mother's Justice Show.
Thank you, Reverend Harriett G. Walden. It's an honor to be given this opportunity to be on your show and to have a platform to talk about my son, Prince Daryl.
Yes.
My son, Prince Daryl, he was just 31 years old. Like Reverend Walden mentioned, I just received the news on Friday, June 16th in the afternoon that no mother ever wants to receive a call from the City of Seattle Medical Examiner's Office that my son had passed away.
Yes.
And out of this tragedy on the streets of Seattle, God has called me for a mission and purpose.
Yes.
And given me the strength to plan this with many leaders such as yourself, Reverend Walden, to come together in memory of my son, Prince Daryl. So I'm planning, along with other city leaders and organizations, it's called the Peace Prayer March and Vigil in memory of my son, Prince Daryl. And this will be on the 1-month anniversary of his passing for this Sunday, July the 16th, from 3 to 5 p.m. We're going to meet at 130th and Aurora next to the Burger King parking lot in Seattle, 30th and Aurora Avenue North. We'll start the peaceful march and vigil there, that we're going to be peacefully walking on the sidewalk to 137th and 20th and Aurora Avenue North. This is the area where my son had lost his life on the streets of Seattle. He was gunned down. We don't have who has taken his life. We pray that this person will turn themselves in and do the right thing for my son. Not only is this peaceful prayer march and vigil, it's also for many other families who have lost their loved ones in the city of Seattle and beyond. So we're imploring families to come out if they feel comfortable, to walking along side by side for those who need prayer, comfort, those who are mourning, like myself, that need love, that will be ministered to other ministers like Reverend Harriett G. Walden and others like Bishop Gwendolyn Coates. There'll be ministers out there praying for you, that'll be reaching out to the community for love and support. And so this is an honor to be able to come out to the community as a mother who has lost a son. Not only did I lose my son, but he's also been suffering prior to his passing to mental illness. Life has not done him justice. So as a mother, I want to live on in him and instill the love to others. And for those that need help dealing with mental illness or suffering from other illnesses, or have lost loved ones, we are here for you. Our ministries are here for you. We're here for each other, the community, and that's what this is all about.
Well, you know what? And I thank you, but I also want you, as his mother, to tell us his story. Tell us those love stories, because you're talking to us about your sadness, but you got love in your heart. So as a mothers always have some stories tucked away in their heart that they just kind of like, this is for a sunshiny day. I want the sun to shine a little right on my baby. So come on, give us some,
Yeah.
give us some of those little notes in your heart, Mama.
Oh, my son, he just was so much full of so much love for the people in the community, his friends, his church family. He always loved sports. My son, Prince Daryl, he had energy, like superpower energy. When he was younger, in grade school and part of middle school, he loved to run track. He loved to run the 400 meter and the 800 meter and relay races all over the city of Seattle and the state of Washington. Very so much so that he won several first place in those meters for 400 and 800, that he went to the Junior Olympics twice. And I was so proud of him that when he could hear me calling out his name, his nickname.
that's one thing that the kids could hear you. I mean, because you call his name like nobody else on earth does. That's a trait that a mother has. Don't nobody call that child's name like the mama does.
Said,
Mama has a calling card.
Yes, ma'am. He would hear me calling his name and he would run faster like the wind. And he would say, Mama, are you proud of me? He said, Mom. Yes. And I said, son, I love you. I would be standing behind you anywhere you go. And that's what I would do. And he would always smile. I would see him on the podium. He'd be on the first place podium and he'd get his medals and he'd just be smiling from ear to ear. And I'm so blessed to have him in his 31 years of life. It's been a blessing to me, and remember all the things he would do and the joy in his heart. I have a picture of him here. This is when he was like a teenager with his sister, his younger sister. He just loved his sister, Angela, so much.
Yeah.
And I was a single mom raising them both.
Yeah. Well, you know what? But see, I got another story, because you had to cook something that he loved. What was his favorite? Or was it many? I mean, you probably was a good cook, so there's probably many favorites. But I mean, sometimes they like a little something by themselves because they don't like to share. Sometimes they don't like to share. I had one who wanted all the cornbread, and he give everybody just a little slice of cornbread, and he take a hog-eye piece for himself.
Yes.
He just loved cornbread. That was in my good cooking days. That was in my good cooking days. So yeah.
Well, Prince Daryl was kind of a simple guy. He just loved cheeseburgers. When I saw him over Mother's Day weekend, I said, son, what do you want? What can I get you? And he says, well, Mom, if you could get me a cheeseburger, I would just love some cheeseburger and some French fries. And could you make me an apple pie? I said, son, I'm gonna get you a cheeseburger, whatever you want. And it just put a smile on his face. He just lit up from ear to ear. So I just like any, kid today, whether they're 10 or they're, 30, they love cheeseburgers or macaroni and cheese. What child doesn't love cheeseburgers and macaroni and cheese and French fries,
Sounds like he was easy then. You didn't have to go to, I mean, I have a grandson who loved those crab legs, man. It's like, and he'll just crack them up, and I'm saying, go for it, son. I mean, I won't mind easy. I'm a queen. Bring me my crabs already out of the shell and let me just have it that way. But so they all have something. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I understand. I mean, like I told you on the phone when we had our first conversation, I'm one of the mothers who can really say, I understand. Because when a mother loses a child, it takes her breath away. And it takes you a while to breathe again, and you're not breathing again right now. It's too soon, but one day you will breathe again in a different way. But what it also does is that we're in a club that we didn't know we were going to be on the day that the child was born. We didn't know that. We didn't know what was coming. But I tell you, to say that I understand, I do. And I give all mothers permission to say, when people asking you that nonsense question, well, how are you doing? You always say, I'm doing the best I can. I give that to every mother that say, I'm doing the best I can right now, because my life has forever changed.
Yes.
I mean, and I give that because people ask those things because they don't know what else to say. And so I learned under my son's experience when I went through this so many years ago. Hiram has been beyond view, beyond time, now 18 years. And so what I do know is that I like to give mothers a relief, and that's a relief. I'm doing the best I can right now. And that's all you can do. You can just, you're in a mist right now. Your life is a fog. You're not thinking clearly, because how can you? And that's why I wanted you to come on. And, in the minutes that we have left, I want you to repeat where the event, what's happening this Sunday coming up. I plan to be there. I am going to get some prayer commitment sheets. I'm just putting it out there so one of my kids might hear me, so they could help me make some prayer commitment sheets so I can bring those and people take them and make a commitment to pray for children. And I also have a survey on what Black people think about violence. I did that for the Silent War campaign. And so this is still what we're doing. COVID put a kind of like a damper on things, and I wasn't out as much. This was because my kids said, don't be going out. So, but anyway, I'll be doing that. So now please I'll let my listening audience, and also this is going to be available on a podcast to be posted later on. For all your friends who might not have been able to be tuned in. But could you please let us know the address and the place and the time on the 16th of July for the march and the prayer visual?
Yes, ma'am, Reverend Walden. Yes, so it's this Sunday, July 16th from 3 to 5 p.m. We will meet at the parking lot at the Burger King on 130th and Aurora Avenue North in North Seattle. We'll meet there. We'll have a prayer and start the march about 3:30. From there, we will walk on the sidewalk from Aurora, 130th and Aurora, to 137th in Aurora Avenue North. There, the vigil will take place. We'll have community leaders such as Reverend G. Walden to start us out with a prayer and just to reach out to families. So please come together. There's a flyer posted on my Facebook page and an event page for the Peace Prayer March and Vigil in honor and memory of Prince Darrell. But remember, this is for all families. We're all mourning, and in the community, we all need to come together to stop, the violence that's happening in our streets and in our communities, to pour out love and peace and justice for all. So all people are welcome to come out and express love and prayer and support for one another. Thank you, Reverend G. Walden, for your time, and God bless you.
Well, God bless you too. And we're going to come because we're creating a culture of peace. We've lived long enough on the culture of death and war. And we're creating a culture of peace, because peace will only come when we call it. We have to call it. Scripture say, call things that's not seen into evidence of being seen. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to call it. We've called it. Enough has been said about violence. It's not enough being said about peace. It's not enough.
And I've been holding on to a scripture. Yes, ma'am. I've been holding on to a scripture that says, blessed are those that mourn, for they should be comforted. Matthew 5:4.
Yes.
So I leave you with that, as God has sent his great comforter, the Holy Spirit, to give us all strength as we are all going through these trying times.
Yes.
And I hope that you all come out and hear the message and be comforted this coming Sunday from 3 to 5. Thank you.
I want to thank you for coming on, Miss Mathis, and I will plan to be there, and I'm letting other people know. All right. So your sorrow will not be by yourself. We'll be there, shared sorrow and increased joy. We'll all be together. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show at 11:50 a.m. KKNW, and we'll take a break, and we'll be right back with my next guest, Miss Betsy Lydle Smith. We're talking about the Virtures Project. Thank you.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear, and apparel for life's everyday adventures. In the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit MarketStreetShoes.com.
Hi, this is Marilyn Milano. If you love animals, then please check out my new show, Love Has Many Faces, Tuesdays from 9 to 9:30 a.m. right here on Alternative Talk 1150. I'll be talking with rescue groups, animal advocates, and other organizations that help animals, sharing their stories and giving our listeners some tangible ways in which they can help make a difference. That's Love Has Many Faces, Tuesdays at 9 a.m. right here on Alternative Talk 1150, raising awareness, touching hearts, and saving animals' lives.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Conversation you won't find on the rest of the dial. Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on air. I want to thank Marcus Hughes, for supporting Mother's Justice Show again, and all of that. And also check out our website. It's Mothers for policeaccountability.org. This is our 33rd year. We had no idea we'd be doing this long. My children have grown up, and my oldest granddaughter is knocking on the door, 30. She's 26. I want to bring my guests on, and my true transparency. I've been knowing Betsy for 30 years, and we've been doing the Virtures Project. And so she's coming on, first time on my show. Welcome, Betsy. And I had red grammar. I couldn't bring you on without red grammar. That's been,
we love
a staple. It's been a staple of the Virtues Project, and all of that. So I met you many years ago as a Virtues training for the Virtues Project, and we pretty much I've been doing this for a long time. And in fact, we were on Zoom the other day with Kathy Beamer, who actually is part of this same group here, and she was on maybe a few months ago. I had her on, and so. You are a Virtues facilitator, a master facilitator. You're on the international organization with the Virtues Project. So for a few minutes, just give a little update. a little overview of what the Virtues Project is, what it means to you, and why all these years, you and your good-looking husband of over 50 years. I used to be a roar.
Harriett.
Good looking Pete. So just so just talk about the Virtues.
Right.
My other guest, was on. Her son got murdered, and I gave her some time, and that's why I asked you to come on a little later, because I wanted to give time because the rally and the peace vigil is next Sunday, and on the 16th, and that would be too late. And out of personal integrity, I wanted to give her some time because we share the same club.
Absolutely.
Her son is she's a new member of the club, and Hiram is been gone for 18 years now, bless his heart. So you knew my Hiram, or you knew of my Hiram.
I didn't know your
Hiram. Yes.
Can't
so
believe
welcome.
it's been 18 years. Thank you so much, Harriett. It's just a joy to be with you always. As your listeners may know, Harriett and I have been colleagues with the Virtues Project for 30 years, almost since inception. The Virtues Project is really a wonderful program that's international, ecumenical program to help people live by their highest values, which are the virtues such as love, kindness, tolerance, acceptance, beauty, and love, and kindness, and so many more. All those inner qualities that we all have, at least in potential. And we as Virtues facilitators want to help people, awaken those virtues in themselves by recognizing that we all have these beautiful qualities within, and that we can live by them in a practical daily way.
Right.
So the Virtues Project started in 1990 with 3 individuals and 1 family who saw the violence in the world and wanted to do something about it. And they, particularly with families and children, and So they said, well, what are the common threads that unite all people from all cultures and all walks of life throughout the world? They said, virtues have been mentioned in all the holy books of the world's religions throughout time, in philosophy and indigenous cultures, as a way to be a good person. So they put together this project called the Virtues Project, and it's a grassroots movement that goes all around the world in about 135 countries now, to bring out the best in all of us. And so that's what we try to do every day. And sometimes we do better than others, right?
But we had the privilege of it actually getting it started in America here in Seattle. And we were part of that. I mean, we were part of the consultations and the many meetings and the training we had, and then we offered up the name Virtues Connection, and that's still going across the world. People are actually doing Virtues Connections and staying alive with the virtues. And it is all of what you said, Betsy. It has the potential to absolutely. I mean, it is the easiest and the best way to me to come from your head to your heart. I don't care. I mean, I don't care what's happening in the room. When you give a virtues card, it immediately changes the energy and changes the direction of the meeting. I mean, I've seen it happen many times. That we had all these people come in after the ambushing of the Dallas police officers. The people kept coming. There was over 75 people who came that night. People were angry, a whole bunch of stuff. And everybody took a card.
Yep.
And I tell you, you had police officers sitting next to people who didn't like police officers. And I mean, it is absolutely a unifier.
Absolutely. It's a unifier, and it's a way that we can all connect in our hearts, really. It doesn't matter what our background is. We all have these virtues, and we all, once we recognize them in other people, we can live with a lot of hope and joy.
A lot of hope and joy. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And also, I've seen it, and you've seen it, and see what it does to children. I mean, because children, being raised with it and understand their value and their worth, and also, I mean, they get to turn it on their parents when their parents like, oh, I mean, I know because when we had Dion Tyson with us, and her little girl would say, "Mama, you're not being gentle today. You need to be kinder."
Exactly.
I mean, so. Yeah.
Children, they get it right away, and it takes a little longer for us adults to get the whole thing. But yeah, the kids remind us, and we can, these virtues are like gems. Sometimes they're hidden. We have to dig them out just like a miner would, and then we find them and they shine brightly. So one of the things that I've done recently, which was kind of fun, my husband and I embarked on a cross-country road trip, and I thought, well, let's do a 30-day virtues challenge and see how we can find virtues in people wherever we go. And it wasn't really hard at all to do. It was kind of fun to, especially since we were in the car a lot, and just the two of us, driving. But when we got somewhere, even if we were just going out for a lunch or something, we could find these people who were really positive and showing their virtues up. And I could have, tell you about a few of those people if that's of interest.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes.
So the first one was this woman, and we were in Texas. So we traveled from Arizona to Virginia to New York and then back across the United States to Seattle. It was about 7,000 miles in 34 days. a lot of driving. But the first person that I wanted to acknowledge was in Texas. And we went into this rest stop in Texas that was beautiful. It was, on the highway. And they had a tornado shelter in the rest stop. Well, I'd never seen that before. And then they had, it was locked up. Thankfully, there wasn't no tornado coming. But this woman was the police officer who was sitting in a little office there. And I went to talk to her to ask about this tornado shelter. And her name was Cynthia. And I thought, what a beautiful service she was providing to people. Number one, she was there and would answer any questions for you about, traveling and where a safe place would be to go if there's a tornado, all that kind of thing. So we were able to acknowledge her for her service. because that's what she did every day. And she had a big smile on her face when I acknowledged her, as people do when somebody's noticing, right, that they have these virtues. Another one I got to mention is Phyllis. Phyllis was this fabulous woman in Memphis, Tennessee. And we stopped again at the visitor center right on the edge of the Mississippi River. And Phyllis was the most enthusiastic woman. She wanted to show us all about Memphis. And they had these huge statues of B.B. King and Elvis. I mean, they were about 25 feet tall. So she had us posing in front of these statues, and with some kind of funny ways to do it. And she gave us the best recommendation for good barbecue ribs in Memphis. She was the most enthusiastic person. And I thought, boy, she was just great at her job. So we got to acknowledge her for her joyfulness and enthusiasm. So, of course, that brought a bigger smile on her face. So, it just went on like that. And what we found is, boy, when you start noticing, you see these virtues everywhere. Everywhere. And in many, many people. And so that was really fun for us. And we did that kind of as a Facebook challenge. I didn't do 30 days every day for individual people, but I would love to tell you about some of the places we went. And
yes, I'd love for you to do that. Yes.
The first destination, Harriett, was my college reunion, and that was back in Virginia. So, I went to college a long time ago. When I went to college, it was an all white women's college. And when I went back for this reunion, I got to meet the president of the college and his wife. And what struck me the most was the inclusion, the inclusivity, and the diversity of the college campus, which is now, of course, integrated with lots of different people, and also, has male students as well as female students. But one of the things which I was thrilled to see, I mean, it's so different than it was when I was a student there, and as it should have been many years ago, and it has been for many years. But the other thing that really struck me was the virtue of honor. Okay. And the reason I mention that is because when I went to college there, we had a very strict honor code. And in 4 years, I never saw anybody cheat on a test or do anything really dishonest. And we were indoctrinated as first-year students about this honor code that, we had to sign on every paper that we turned in. I will not cheat or use anybody else's work or break my word of honor. And we wrote that on every paper.
Wow.
So I was really curious to see if this still held true in 2023, because times have changed in a lot of, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? It's still there. That honor code is still there. It's a little bit differently worded. And we were talking about, how artificial intelligence is now a big question and a big deal. Are students going to be able to just use somebody else's work totally, the artificial intelligence to write papers? And I talked to some students, and I talked to the professors, and I talked to the president of the college about this honor code, because it was a huge influence in my life. And, when we are taught to be honorable, and over again, it's encouraged, it becomes a way of life. And so I was really thrilled to find that this honor code still exists in 2023, where students can leave their backpacks, someplace, and it will still be there the next day. Where there's no teacher or professor that is in the room when an exam is taken. Students are trusted to do their best work and not cheat, and they don't.
Wow.
So that
what city is the college in?
It's Fredericksburg, Virginia, and it's called the University of Mary Washington.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. And it's still a fairly small college, 4,700 students. It's about 50 miles south of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
So that was a wonderful experience for me to go back there and spend 3 or 4 days, and I mean, that wasn't the only part of it that I enjoyed, but it was really striking to me that, and important that, and I thought about that, and I thought, is that part of the reason I became a Virtues Project facilitator? Because
honor.
Seriously.
Well, yeah, if you spent 4 years someplace where I guess it was like always on the menu, the highest one on the menu, everything else kind of fell up under that. Because when you're honorable, honorable comes with trustworthiness.
Absolutely.
Because people know that you're trustworthy.
Absolutely.
When you're honorable, and I think also for me that it has to come with a little bit of humility, so you don't let a lot of stuff go to your, get to be thinking you so much, but because we all are so much. I mean, we all of that, but to meet honorable people and knowing that they keep their word, and when they have to make another agreement, they call you. Yep. So you're not waiting on them, or you're not, they didn't, and then when you are working with those type of people, they never tell you they're going to try, because they know that you don't do when you try. They're going to let you know up front whether they can do it or not.
Yeah. That's really the point. Well, I mean, and not to say that we're perfect.
No.
And I certainly don't claim to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but you know what? It's a goal to work toward every day,
It is.
To keep that on.
Yeah. And, because my son does, he does media, and, a lot of my kids does a lot of different things, but he's really responsible for putting information out there. And one of the things that I tell him, especially when he was doing the morning update, so always tell the truth. I said, because when this stuff shakes out in America, people are going to be really angry that the so-called right and the so-called left, they all held back information. Nobody ever tells the truth. Right. So, because nobody's honorable enough to tell the truth. And so when you can be honorable enough to tell the truth and let people make up their own minds and be able to have a place for them to actually be able to shift the consciousness if they need to, because if what you're telling them is truthful. And I also think truthfulness goes along with honorable. Honor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. It's kind of interesting, because I was thinking about when I was a student there, the first year, we were scared to death because we thought if we got caught doing any of these things that were against the code of honor, we got expelled from college. Right. So that was a very serious consequence. And I was really happy to see now that they don't do it that way. They use restorative practices.
Oh, okay.
So it's a teachable moment for people if they are doing something and they are given another chance,
Right.
But of course, there are consequences too. There are consequences, but it's more of a caring way to do it, I think, rather than scaring people to death. And but it. Yeah,
I think our generation was it. They had to put the fear of God in us. So
exactly.
It's like, oh yeah, you don't want to bring no shame on your people. So it's like you're gonna try to do what's right.
That's right.
Even if all your friends are doing something else, you're gonna stay in that little lane, just because you want to just do what's right for the family or what's right for what your goals are. And so I think we had a little bit more constraints on us a lot of ways, and now people don't have a lot of those constraints. And but we grew into loving, understanding why we needed to be honorable or to be truthful. Really and truly. We understood why. Because the greatest disappointment comes when somebody has told you the biggest lie, or you've been led to believe something else, and then it causes a whole bunch of stuff. So and that's one of the power of the virtues, is that it does have the power to restore. It has the power to lift you up. It has the power to wake you up in a good way, but also the restoration part is there. It is the most effective for me, emptying your cup, because you get to empty your cup with nobody trying to save you, nobody trying to rescue you, nobody trying to do nothing, but let you empty your cup. And then after you empty your cup, you get restored.
That's right.
With the virtues.
Absolutely.
That people hear, because people see and hear in whatever you're talking about. To be restored to your whole wholeness gives people another opportunity to try again. That's what I believe. When people return to me being restored, and that's why I believe that having spirituality can help heal this idea, the sadness and the deep sorrow and despair of people without homes. And I've been trying to talk to somebody to just give us an opportunity to have a spiritual perspective, because I do believe, and I'm still working on that piece to be able to get an open door, because I do believe that the virtues can help restore people who have deep sorrow and sadness.
Well, we've seen that. We've seen that, haven't we? I mean, with many people, including ourselves. Yes. I mean, I think that that's so true. One of the other things about this trip that was pretty wonderful was the beauty of the United States. Beautiful places that we went and saw. And not just we saw a lot of national parks, which I think is such a gem for our country, that we have these beautiful spots that have been, put aside for us that aren't owned by, other things. And so the beauty, but also the beauty of the people, because we, are inundated by bad news, really. If we're watching TV or if we're listening to, whatever, it's often bad news. Well, our whole trip was positive. It was 34 days of good news. And it wasn't because we weren't listening to the, bad news. It was because we kept meeting all these wonderful people of all walks of life. And people in general were super friendly. They were welcoming. They were courteous. I mean, we were in parks with lots and lots of other people sometimes. People were friendly. They were happy. They were positive. And I think, we get a bad rap, really, about number one, about our country, and also about people in general, that things are really bad. And of course, we have things that are awful that are going on, but we also have a lot of good things, and we have a lot of good people. And so the friendliness we saw, the friendship, the adventuresomeness of people, and the courtesy really struck. People were really courteous to each other. Nobody was, jumping in front of you in a line, or, I mean, there was a lot of courtesy. There were a lot of people saying, go ahead, go in front of me, and that kind of thing when we're in lines. It was really very encouraging to have this trip across the United States, and the beauty of the country, the beauty of the landscape was really wonderful to see. And I know a lot of people said, well, what are you doing when you're in the car all those hours, And we tried to do, books on tape and all that. Nothing worked. I mean, the radio, we were supposed to have music and all this. It didn't work. And we spent a lot of time quiet in the car, the two of us, just absorbing that landscape.
Beauty.
Landscape. And it was in every single state that we went in. We were in 16 states. And, we talk about the beauty of certain places, but it was beautiful everywhere.
Well, let's take a break.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, let's take a break and come back here. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. We'll be right back.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
Hi, this is Dr. K. Mahina Intron, inviting you to tune in on Mondays on 1150 KKNW at 5 p.m. to Dr. K's Attuning to Your Abundance, where we honor everyday abundance through positive messages, poetry, music, affirmations, and writing exercises. For more information, contact Dr. K Workshops at gmail.com or Facebook, Dr. K's Abundance.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
An alternative to everything else on your radio dial. Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. You know, I love radio. I was raised with radio. So I love it. I would bring my guests back on, I like to bring my friends on. Why not? That's what friends are for. So I want to bring up Betsy Lydle Smith. She's a great friend, a Virtues facilitator on the international level. And we're just talking about virtues that can and has in a lot of ways healing the world. Welcome again, Betsy. Yes.
Oh, thanks, Harriet. And that song, Listen, just reminds me.
I thought I'd bring you something that you like.
It's so beautiful, isn't it? And, it really reminds me of the fifth strategy, the Virtues Project, which is to listen deeply to other people. Yes. My husband and I often say, gee, do we have signs on our back that say, talk to me? Because, there's so many people who talk, and don't listen, right?
Yeah.
But the Virtues Project has this great strategy called companioning.
Yes.
Or spiritual companioning, where we learn how to listen to somebody and really hear them without giving our own advice or trying to fix them. And you referred to that a little bit earlier about the healing power of being heard. And when we have this strategy of spiritual companioning, we learn how to be a good listener and not try to fix or cure or give our own advice, etc.
Right.
It allows people to empty their cup and to feel heard and validated.
Yes.
And restore the virtue.
And restore the virtue. And it has that power. Because sometimes just to be heard. A lot of times women are not heard. Somebody's always talking for us, especially when you get to be a little older, people kind of think that you're not there and they need to finish your sentences for you.
Exactly.
That type of stuff, but just to be heard. But you have so much experience. I also wanted to let the community know that we had the very first Virtues a mentorship here. Seattle was very instrumental, but Betsy, you traveled the world with the Virtues. Is that right?
I haven't traveled the whole world. I have certainly.
Well,
Zoom, I've traveled a lot of places. Yeah, I've been privileged really to do this work in a lot of different places. I started out doing a lot of work in the Bellevue School District, actually, in the whole Seattle area, with schools, because I was a teacher previously, a public school teacher, and I realized that in order to create an environment where kids really thrive, we need more than just the academics. We need a character program that helps children develop their character, which is the virtues, basically, all those great qualities that we want our kids to exhibit. So I did a lot of work in the Bellevue School District for many years and other school districts as well. I was invited to do some training in Japan with Japanese facilitators, which was a wonderful opportunity for me and the others to, all the Japanese folks who, embrace this project as well. So that, excuse me, so there's a lot going on around the world. I've done a lot of workshops in Canada and throughout the United States. And I've done a lot of work on Zoom for the last several years, even before COVID, which gives me and others the opportunity to connect on a worldwide basis. So, for instance, I'm part of a group that meets weekly, a bunch of New Zealanders, and we get to do a virtues pick every week, which is, talking about a particular virtue by picking a card and just sharing something about our lives. There are a lot of those sharing circles going on around the world with virtues now that bring us into community. And I think that, right now is a really hard time for a lot of people. They don't feel like they're part of a community.
Right.
And this virtues sharing circles, which can be done very easily on Zoom. Right. And of course, wonderful if it's in person.
Right.
It's people into community.
Right.
So I now live in Arizona, and I've actually started a little virtues sharing group down there that we meet every other week. a group of folks who are interested. And it's kind of interesting because people have said one by one, they kind of join this group, and there's no dues or anything like that. And they don't have to come if they don't want to, or if it's not convenient. But each person had said, I feel like I'm finding my people now. It's connecting my heart. Yeah. It's talking about meaningful things that are, finding our purpose in life. What's the meaning of our lives? We're talking about things that are beyond just the shallow, gee, I'm going to go play pickleball today, or I'm going to, I'm going shopping or whatever. It's talking about these qualities that we all have and recognizing them in each other.
Right. All right. And, and that's, Kathy called us together a few years ago, and I started our regular. We changed it. We changed it the weekdays more than once. But I was glad that she called us together. She called a circle for us, and I think it was just a little bit before COVID started. I believe it was. But
it was.
And so we're still going. I mean, we're still meeting on a weekly basis when we can. And you were there this last time. So and then we invited the previous mayor. Mayor Jenny Durkin came with a circle with us, and she understood the power of the virtues. I mean, and her staff did. And so those cards, and the last time I talked to her, she still had her cards. She remembers them. I mean, because once you have a meaningful relationship, you get a card and it really speaks to you. I mean, I meet people and they say, I still got my cards, and it's like, okay, because for years and years, I just gave out the cards. And so now we are doing some healing circles, with the virtues, and my kids, and they're doing it a different way. And we're walking up to people and giving them cards and, talking about the cards, but they're getting the cards out. And so we haven't gotten, we have some plan, but we'll be executing some more of them. But it's just a way. At this time in the world, these virtues is made for such a time as this. Absolutely. We didn't know that. We didn't know that then, but it really is. I believe that is one of the tools that can help turn the world. Because I believe that. I believe that because one of the things about a belief, whatever is fundamental, you believe it, and we have people fundamentally believe in other things right now. But if they can get that card.
Yeah, it calls us to our highest self.
It does, and that's what it does.
And it can turn a bad day around immediately by reading the card. Well, now what you're talking about are called Virtues cards, right? And they are available as a free set on your phone. So if you go to virtuesmatter.org, you can get a free set of Virtues cards, and there's like 52 cards in the deck. They all have different virtues, and they describe the virtue. They give you a quote about the virtue, and they give you something to ponder and reflect on, because the wording is really beautiful. And so shall we read one?
Yeah, so we should go ahead and read the virtues, and so we can do a demonstration here before our time is together is ended. Yes.
Sounds great. So since I was talking about honor earlier, I thought we just I'd read that card about honor.
Okay.
So this comes from the Virtues Reflection Cards, which is from the Virtues Project, and you can go to virtuesproject.org .com to see more. Honor is deep respect for what we know is right and true. It is living up to the virtues of our character. We honor our abilities by using them for a meaningful purpose. Honor is appreciation in action. We honor others when we treat them with the dignity they deserve. Others can trust us to keep our word of honor. When we do things we are ashamed of, we restore our honor by taking responsibility and making amends. We do our duty, whatever sacrifice it requires. We act with integrity, not to be admired, but because it is the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. And there's a quote on the back by Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
If you seek what is honorable, what is good, what is the truth of your life, all the other things you could not imagine come as a matter of course.
Right.
And then the practice of honor. I live by my principles. I cultivate the virtues and talents I have been given. I treat others and myself with dignity and respect. I am trustworthy in keeping my agreements. I strive for impeccable integrity. I do what I believe is right, no matter what. And the affirmation is, I am thankful for the gift of honor. It makes my life worthwhile.
Yes, I do believe that. I believe that it does make your life worthwhile because it gives you a solid foundation to stand on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it gives you a solid foundation. And it makes you be able to go to bed at night okay. Because you know you did the honorable thing.
That's
you know,
right.
the righteous thing. I mean, and you were willing, and sometimes you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes, as my grandmother said, you got to walk that road by yourself because everybody else is going a different way.
Yeah.
But when you stay true to your purpose and your highest calling, and I think honorable is really what guides the way. Yeah. And I think, you know, when we give lots of grace and accolades to the founders, Linda and Dan Popoff, and then her brother John, you know, and her late brother John, and I mean, they answered the call from the Most High, called by many names. You know, and then in some cultures they just call the Great Spirit, but called by many names, and they answered that call. I mean, sometimes, you know, Betsy, sometimes we don't want to be obedient because how many times I've thrown back the card service and helpfulness? Oh, gee, I don't want that card.
Yeah, enough of that one. Yeah. But it's usually got a message for us, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even the ones we want to throw back.
Yeah, but you want to give your business or your email. I mean, your website for Virtures for what you do in the world.
Yes, well, first of all, my name's Betsy Lydle Smith, and my website is virtuestraining.com. Virtues with an S, training.com. And just one other thing that my husband Pete and I have been doing is putting together a couples course called Building Blocks for Lasting Love. And that's just about to launch. So you can see that on my website too. That's an online course for couples who would like to be in a committed, long-lasting relationship with love, lots of love.
Well, they've been lasting a long time. I think they got married in 1970 because I think, and I know about that. I had my second baby.
And our anniversary is tomorrow. So.
Oh, well, happy anniversary! All right, happy, yes. Well, you know, Betsy, so good that you could come on and bring the power of the virtues and the love of the virtues. And thank you for being on Mother's Justice Show. And I'm sure we'll see each other soon.
Thank you so much, Harriet.
All right, thank you. You've been listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on there. I'll talk to you next week.